Then Will Studley leaped high aloft and laughed loudly, clapping his hands pure joy that he should have been chosen for among them all. "No thanks, good master," quoth he, "and if I bring not news of the knaves to thee, call me no more thy sly Will Studley." Then he clapped himself in a friar's crown, and underneath the robe he hung a good broadsword in such a place that he could easily lay hands upon it. Thus clad he set forth upon his quest until he came to the verge of the forest, and so to the highway. He saw two bands of the sheriff men, yet he turned neither to the right nor to the left, but only drew his scroll to closer over his face, folding his hands as if he would in meditation, so that at last he came to the sight of the Blue Boar, for, quoth he to himself, "Our good friend Edom will tell me all the news." At the sight of the Blue Boar, he found a band of the sheriff's men drinking right lustily, so, without speaking to anyone, he sat down upon a distant bench, his staff in his hand and his head bowed forward as though he was meditating. Thus he sat waiting until he might see the landlord apart, and Edom did not know him, but though him to be someone poor, tired, friar, so he let him sit without saying a word to him or molesting him, though he liked not the clothes. "Fool," said he to himself, "it is hard head that kicks to the land dog from off the still." As Stully sat though, there came a great house cat and rubbed against his knee, against his robe and palms beneath him. High. Stully pushed his robe quickly down again, but the constable whom commanded the sheriff man saw what had passed, and saw also fair Lincoln green beneath the friar's robe. He said nothing at the time, but communicated with himself in this wise: "Yon in no friar of orders grey, and also I wot not honest yeoman goeth about in priest grabs, nor doth a thief go so forth north. No, I think in good sooth that is one of Robin Hood's own men." So presently he said aloud, "O holy father, wilt thou not take a good pot of mash beer to slacken thy first soul withal?" But Stully shook his head silently, for he said to himself, "Maybe there be those here who know my voice." Then the constable said again, "Whither goest thou, holy friar, upon this hot summer's day?" "I go a pilgrim to Canterbury town," answered Will Studley, speaking gruffly, so that none might know his voice. Then the constable said, for the third time, "Now tell me, holy father, do pilgrims to Canterbury wear good Lincoln green beneath their robes? Ha! By my faith, I take thee to be some lusty thief, or perhaps one of Robin Hood's own band. Now, by Our Lady's grace, if thou movest hand or foot, I will run thee through the body with my sword." Then he flashed forth to bright sword and leaped upon Will Studley, thinking he would take him unaware. But Studley had his own sword tightly held in his hand beneath his robe, so he drew it forth before the constable came up on him. Then the stout constable struck a mighty blow, but he struck no more in all the fight, for Will Studley, parrying to blow right deftly, smoothed the constable back again with all his might. Then he would have escaped, but could not, for the others, all dizzy with the wound and with the flowing blood, seized him by the knees and his arms even as he reeled and fell. Then the other rushed upon him, and Studley struck again at another of the sheriff's men, but the steel cap glanced the blow, and though the blade bit deep, it did not kill. Meanwhile the constable, fainting as he was, drew Studley downwards, and the others, seeing the yeoman happened so, rushed upon him again, and one smote put him a blow upon the crown, so that the blood ran down his face and blinded him. Then, staggering, he fell, and all sprang up on him, though he strangled so manfully that they could hardly hold him fast. Then they bound him with stout hempen cords, so that he could not move either hand nor foot, and thus they overcame him. Robin Hood stood under the greenwood tree, thinking of Will Stutely and how he might be faring, when suddenly he saw two of his stout yeomen coming up down the forest path, and betwixt them ran buxom Marken of the Blue Boar. Then Robin Hood's heart failed, for he knew they were the bearers of ill tidings. Will Stutely hath been taken, cried they, when they had come to where he stood, and it is thou that hast brought such doleful news, said Robin to the lass. Ay, Mary, for I saw it all, cried she, painting as the hart pants when it has escaped the hounds, and I fear he is wounded sore, for once smote him main sturdily, ay, the crown. They had bound him and taken him to Nottingham town, and ere I left the Blue Boar I heard that he should be hanged tomorrow day.